So today I'm going to explain some of the ways you can adapt your saving goals to the times we're currently living in, and including some ways you can save and just put a bit of extra cash back in your hip pocket. Okay, so the first question is, what should I focus on to get my finances in order? And what household costs should I be looking at? Well, look, when life throws you a financial curveball, it's important to take action as soon as possible. Now, maybe you've lost your job, or maybe your hours have been cut. Maybe an unexpected bill has thrown all your hard savings and money plans out the window. It does happen, but whatever that curveball is, it's important to remain calm and prioritise. The most important thing when working through a crisis budget is that you can put food on the table, keep a roof on your head, and switch on the lights. That's it. The rest can wait. Now, with that in mind, I'd like to take you through my 7-step crisis budget. First things first is to count all your beans. And by that I mean, figure out how much money you've got to work with here. Now, if you've lost your job or taken a hit in the number of hours, you may be eligible for some government assistance. So worth getting on Services Australia's site for that. Next, boost your cash flow by making sure you put in any hardship relief. Now, this can certainly buy you some time, but be sure to understand the conditions, if any, around those. Then set up your expenses into 3 buckets. Get a must-have, need to have, and nice to have, and fill them up. Your must-have should have things like your mortgage or your rent, utilities, insurance, and obviously food. Need to have, well, I'll leave it to you, but it could be entertainment. Nice to have, well, for me, it's more cushions, but it could be outsourcing. Maybe you get somebody to do the ironing, or maybe it's the dry cleaning or somebody mowing the lawn. Put those on pause. The goal here is to trim as much of the fat as possible from your budget to preserve as much as your income and savings as possible. Then, once you've done that, you can move to the next step, and that's to review your must-have bills. Now, must-have bills tend to be regular household item bills: electricity, mortgage, internet, and so on. And even though some of our regular bills might seem small and insignificant on their own, collectively, they can put an enormous amount of pressure on our budgets. Now, a few things you might like to focus on. Winter is the time of the year that sees more of us spending time at home, so you can expect your energy bill to go up. And with more of us working from home and communicating with family and friends online, you might find that your internet needs have changed considerably as well. It could be a good time also to review any subscription services. See what you're paying. Are you still using all these services, or can you give some the flick? And also, are there opportunities to save money on insurances? For example, can you cut your premiums on your car insurance if you're not using your car that much? We've put together a list of 20 simple changes you could make to save money on your insurances. Check it out for some ideas, and the link is in the description of this video. Now, in addition to the small savings that can be made, you can also make some big ones if you're prepared to, say, change your home loan provider. So if you've got a $400,000 variable rate home loan and you're currently paying, say, 3.5%, you could save as much as $240 per month by switching to a lower rate of around 2.39%. So your next step after you've gone through these bills is to try and reserve your cash flow. And by this, I mean, if you do have loyalty card points, then use them to purchase items. It's probably not the best way to spend your points, but right now it's all about preserving your cash. And also, don't be too harsh on yourself if you can't stick to your financial goals. Look, setting goals is wise and we should be doing it, but there's nothing wrong with hitting the pause button in the middle of a crisis. And finally, vow to set up an emergency fund. Even if it's just a couple of $1,000s, you'll thank yourself for doing so. Next question. I'm struggling a little financially. Can you give me some tips on how to have tough conversations with my bank, utility provider, or landlord? Now, if you can't pay your electricity, gas, phone, or water bill, contact your service provider straight away. Now, they're going to explain things such as maybe an extension plan, payment in installments. You might be able to have Centrelink deductions, or you could apply for a rebate or voucher. There are plenty of options there, but keep the doors open for communication. Do try and avoid a payday lender. If you're after cash for emergency purchases, such as say a new fridge or car repairs, consider talking to not-for-profit organisations. They do have no interest loans. The scheme provides loans of up to $1,500 and repayments are arranged over a 12 to 18 month period. To be eligible for these loans, you must have a health care or pension card and earn under $45,000. What about if you can't pay your rent? Well, know your rights as a renter. Talk to your landlord and look for alternative ways to pay your rent. And do get in touch with your local tenancy support service. And also check again to see if you are eligible for any benefits. The most important thing here is to keep an open line of communication and make sure you have everything in writing. Next question. I'm experiencing financial hardship. Who can I reach out to for support? If you are feeling overwhelmed by money or personal issues, it can be hard to know where to go. You don't have to do this alone. Now, in an emergency, there are services to help you with food, housing, and bills, as well as emotional support. Now, if you don't know where to start, call the free National Debt Helpline on 1-800-007-007. Now, I know that most of us do have the best money intentions, but sometimes you do need a nudge from an expert to set you in the right direction.